You're listening to Evolving Moons Podcast
with Jess and Katie. Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Evolving Moons.
Yeah. Happy Tuesday.
Yeah.
Or whatever day you're watching this.
/ listening.
Yes, / listening. Because
however you listen
we are
to
not
us.
Just a video.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. Oh, also, let's take some time to mention that if you've only ever listened to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, go to our YouTube page and watch us.
We are mildly fun to watch, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like we're always just, talking, though.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends on what type of...
But sometimes we see, I show the card, I don't know.
Yeah.
I see the card.
And you can see, our outfits.
Oh, we put a lot of thought
We don't look that... I mean, not right now. I don't look that cute. I'm just
in a black kind of cute.
Yeah. Don't look at me.
Shout out our girlfriend Alyssa. She's been making her own necklaces.
Yeah.
That's nice.
We'll link her.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah. They're beautiful. And we're talking about beauty today.
Oh, we are talking about beauty today. And not the way that you would think.
Yeah. Yeah, not when we say beautiful, we just said this necklace is beautiful. Not in that way. We're talking about it in a way that is more soulful, on a deeper level of beauty, more like the vibe of beauty,
of beauty.
That
should be the name of the podcast.
The vibe of beauty. All right.
It doesn't have to be, I'm joking.
No, but why we find things beautiful and why different people find different things beautiful and what beauty kind of means to us and that it means
I think
so
what
much
beauty
more.
means to us in different ways is more of our focus.
What we're talking about today.
Yeah. So I did a reading on this. We'll just start off with that so we can kind of get the vibe of what we're talking about today.
The vibe of beauty.
And it was kind of a hard question to ask. I feel like this topic is a little bit more challenging. Although I feel like maybe it's because it was your baby, your idea.
Yeah.
Kind of like the letting go thing for me was my idea.
Yeah.
So it took you a second, and then now it's taking me a second. But I'm getting it. I got it. But so going into it, I had this question in my head, how can we see beauty in everything around us? How can we appreciate it? I don't know. I had all these different questions going through my mind. And so in doing that, I feel one, this card was kind of personal because it was just me picking the card, but it was kind of the essence of beauty,
Yeah.
But I think that this card works. I think that I kind of like it, and I've been trying to explain it to Jess for 20 minutes now, but it makes sense. I pulled the Queen of Wands from my Layla and Olive tarot deck, and it's I really like it. It's like a crystal
little trio.
No, there's
crystals.
4.
Oh,
it's
5.
It's like a crown. Why can I think of it?
Yeah. Okay.
It looks almost like a little woodland
crown.
It's like a butterfly.
Yeah, there's flowers underneath.
There's flowers underneath and leaves. Yeah. Yeah, see, it looks like a crown.
It does,
They're little X's. And basically what this card was saying to me is, one, it was this whole part about you owning your own personal truth, knowing your strengths and weaknesses, and also your shadow self. Which maybe we'll get into shadow self later. I could talk about that forever probably, but for the purpose of right now, basically owning all this and being able to put your true self out there in a way that will inspire others.
Yeah.
And when I think about beauty, I think about more, creating something. We were talking a lot about art and different things when we were
music.
Discussing this.
Even
and it's
Alyssa's jewelry.
The jewelry. Yeah. And I think that yes, there's this part where we are observing it and looking at it, and for ourselves. But then there's also the beginning part, which is creating it. And I think that someone has to put a lot of themselves into something that they're creating.
Yeah.
And that is the part that other people are attracted to.
Totally. Yeah, it's like all of their feelings and emotions go into their craft. And a lot of times I feel like that's displayed. And that's why other people find certain things beautiful, is because it relates to them, or like they feel like they're a connection with it, or they're like, oh, I understand. Or maybe it's like a completely off thing, you know, like maybe the artist meant something and this person's interpreting it in a completely different way, but they are feeling something from it, which is what makes it beautiful to them.
Yes.
I was talking about this idea with my sister yesterday, and she paints and she crafts a lot. She does ceramics, like super into art. And something that she said is that she finds things to be beautiful when she can tell that there was a lot of effort put in. And that's something that's cool too, is because a lot of people do spend like so much time on their craft, you know, whatever it may be. And even if you don't find it like aesthetically pleasing, or maybe it's not your favorite color, maybe you wouldn't paint that painting or whatever, like you can still appreciate the amount of effort and time that went into something. And that makes it beautiful too.
Yeah. I think like our theme for today is not so much like what we find aesthetically pleasing, but like how we can find beauty in so many other ways.
Yeah. What beauty is to us, aside from just physical beauty. All right. So we have some questions that we've kind of been talking about the last few days and thinking about. And so I think we'll just ask the question aloud, and then we can both talk about it. And hopefully while you're listening to this, you can think about your answers. So the first one is, what makes a person beautiful to you?
Well, you know, sometimes it's just like, for me, I just look at them, I'm like, oh my gosh, that person's beautiful. But
we all do that.
You know, a great example. There's moments where I look at a person and I think, wow, they're beautiful. And then we were just talking about this like 5 minutes ago. I started talking to them and I lose it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's because there's so much more to a person than just the outside.
Yeah.
And to be beautiful on the inside, I think you just have to be a good person. I don't know. There's so much about what makes a person beautiful. And I feel like it's how they make you feel, how they bring out the best parts of you, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like when I notice that I find somebody so beautiful, other than physically, is like when they open up to me, you know, like when I'm able to hear about people's past traumas or like sad experiences, and they're vulnerable, and like to see that vulnerability and then to listen to how they overcame their struggles or like what they went through and why it made them the person that they are today. I feel like that's so beautiful, and that's where their beauty really shines through, is because you get to see them so raw and talking about something that maybe they're not proud of, or maybe really affected them, and maybe it's hard for them to talk about. Maybe they cry, you know, and like I just feel like sharing that moment with somebody is beautiful. It connects you so much deeper, and they're just being so authentic in front of you. They're trusting you with that information, and like just that whole experience, I feel like, is where I like find people most beautiful.
Yeah, I really appreciate when I can vibe with someone.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how else to put that into words, but you just get along so well.
Mm-hmm.
There's always something to talk about. And yeah, you open up with each other. You have no problem. There's just like no holding back. Neither of you are holding back. And I think that is just the most like beautiful relationship you can have with a person. Any kind of relationship.
Totally.
Like,
I also see beauty, or like people that I don't know. I'll have these moments when I see something happen in public, or like I'll just see an interaction between two people, and it's beautiful to me. Like earlier today, there was like this guy at the store, and he couldn't pay for all of his groceries. He like had a grocery card or a gift card or something. I don't know. He couldn't pay for all of it, and so the woman behind him offered to pay for his stuff. And I was just like, that is so beautiful. Like that interaction, like I guess it's when you see human kindness. I don't know, like it comes off as beautiful.
When did you say this happened?
Like earlier, the last couple days, early in the morning.
Last night I went to the drive-ins, and we were just sitting there watching the movie. And then in the middle of the movie, this guy like makes his girlfriend get out of the car, and they're like right in front of us in the drive-ins, you know? Yeah. And so like we're watching this happen, and we're like, what the fuck? Like what are they doing? And he was like, oh, hold on, just like stand there. And he was like, oh, like, will you take like a cute video of me? Like he opens his trunk and he pulls flowers out for her.
Aww.
And so she was already recording because he was like trying to be sneaky, you know. And she was like, oh my God. And we were like, oh, that's cute. Like, F our lives. But it was really cute because I was like, oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, you like see it's still vulnerability, I think. You know, like you see them in like a very true.
And those are just total strangers.
Right.
You know, and that was beautiful to see.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
Yeah. I think that that's what makes another person beautiful is like their realness, you know, when their true, like most authentic, unfiltered version of themselves is kind and is like wholesome and genuine. I think that is beautiful.
Yeah. And it's important to note, people say it all the time, but you can be beautiful on the outside and ugly on the inside.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Well, yeah, because like when you have those same experiences and moments and it sucks, you know, it's rude. It's like that guy could have just asked his girlfriend to get out of the car and then drove off. Or like, you know, like he could have just been like, oh, can you hold all this shit? And he just like had to go to the bathroom or so. Like, you know, like it could have been a twisted version of that.
Yeah.
And that would not be beautiful. You would not find beauty in that. And like same with the lady at the store. It's like she could have been like, oh, well, that guy can't pay for his shit. Like, well, what a fucking loser. You know, she could have said something like, you know, but
yeah.
In those moments, your beauty can come out. But I guess like, yeah, also your ugliness can come out. So.
That's very true.
Oh, wait. Our next one is, where is the most beautiful place you've been?
You start.
Okay. I'm going to say Amsterdam. Amsterdam and Venice for similar reasons. And I love water. Like I really, really, really am like so calm around water and just it makes me very happy. And both Amsterdam and Venice, their cities run because of water. Mm-hmm. Like Venice is a fucking island, you know, like there's a bunch of little Venetian islands, and they have canals through it, whatever. But so does Amsterdam. Like Amsterdam has all these little tiny canals and there's always people on boats. And that's like a main mode of transportation. Like Amsterdam, you get around mostly on bikes, but in Venice, like there are no cars, you know, like it's a whole huge city that's floating on the water, but you get around by boat. Mm-hmm. And every little house like goes in, there's steps that go into the water, into the canal near their house instead of a street. And then they have like their little boat parked and like tied up. Mm-hmm. And that to me is just so beautiful because the calmness that I have felt like when I was there was just so unmatched by any other place that I traveled to in Europe. And I think it was because the city revolved around the waterways. And also the people are just so freaking cute. Like they're all very kind in their little windows. And it's like a lot of elderly people. Amsterdam was like more younger and like whatever. But in Venice, there was like so many elderly like men and women that are just waving out their windows to you. And like they're very nice. And I was like obviously a tourist and super like English speaking, didn't know where I was going or whatever. But like every little coffee shop I went into, everybody was so kind. Venice is the glass capital of the world, so they had a lot of glass blowing and art there. And every little, there's just the teensiest little alleyways that like you can fit like maybe 3 people standing next to each other in the alleyway, so small. And then every tiny little like shop owner would just be like, oh, hi, welcome in, like come on in. And they have great Italian food. It just like warms your soul. And like, I don't know, that was just the most beautiful, special place I think that I've been to.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Thank you.
For me, you know, I've been sitting here thinking about my favorite place, and as you're talking about a city, I was kind of taken back.
Venice is not my favorite place, I don't think. I don't know if it's my favorite.
You said the most beautiful place you've been to.
It's the most beautiful place I've been to, but I don't know if it's my favorite place I've ever been to.
Okay. For me, I was like on a totally different spectrum. I was thinking about like nature immediately.
Okay, yeah.
Like the most beautiful places I've seen, like that feeling you're talking about, like feeling serene and nice. I don't like cities at all.
Yeah.
So like I appreciate like old cities, old architecture, like things like that, but I really don't like being in cities. I prefer to be like in the mountains, in like meadows. I don't know, like I was thinking about just like all of the different meadows and mountains and like my favorite's the ocean. So like, or like my favorite beaches. Like I was trying to pick the most beautiful place out of all those things, but like a city was not there.
I feel like I also don't like cities normally.
Yeah.
It gives me anxiety, and like there's always a ton of people and it's always really crowded and busy, but this city didn't feel like that to me. It was actually really slow, and like it didn't feel crowded. I never bumped into somebody once, even though the streets were so freaking tiny. I just everybody was like so easygoing and just happy, and I could like think of a ton of beautiful natural places that I've been to too, you know, but it's like how everybody worked with each other, like their community was beautiful to me. I don't normally think most people are beautiful. Like I don't enjoy being around a lot of people, but I was so happy and like so willing to talk to everybody there.
You know, I thought about it. The most beautiful place I think I've been is Utah, and that's so random.
Really?
But I've been on like lots of road trips, and especially like this half of the country. And there wasn't a moment in Utah, or at least, I mean, there are places, there's like the salt flats kind of like area and stuff like that. But like Sundance area, that's more like, it's like woods, there's like waterfalls on the side of the freeway, you know, it's just so beautiful. But even like the more rocky areas, you know, like that whole like Southwest like vibe, I don't know, I thought Utah was really beautiful. I mean, I was a kid, but as an adult, I wouldn't appreciate like the no alcohol thing, but I always thought like Utah was so beautiful, and I would definitely want to go back.
That's nice.
At least to Sundance.
I've also seen photos of other places, like photos that I haven't been. Wyoming looks really beautiful to me.
Oh, yeah.
Montana.
Oh, Montana was actually close second.
Yeah.
Driving through Montana, I was like, this is nice. And it was summer, too. You know why it's so nice over there? Is because it's, like, rainy all the time. They have, like, summer storms and stuff, you know?
It's, like, very green and
it's, like,
lush.
green and, like, open skies. But there's also, like, beautiful hills and stuff over there. Montana was a good one.
Another beautiful place for me, I guess I didn't think about it because I go so often, is Tahoe.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, Tahoe is...
But Tahoe's, like, very visually
I feel like we're very spoiled because we go there all the time.
Yeah.
But and every time I go, I just think like, oh, wow, it's so beautiful. But imagine seeing Tahoe for the first time.
Yeah.
I don't even remember. You know, I've been going to Tahoe for so long.
Yeah, I guess that's why, like, the beauty of Tahoe to me, like, of course, the lake is beautiful and the water is beautiful and the mountains are beautiful. But the beauty, when I think of Tahoe, I think of, like, all the winters that I spent there with my grandparents and Christmases and, like, I've, like,
it's
the
more
peace
special
and, like, I have this, like, whole nostalgia side of Tahoe when I think of it, and that makes me feel like it's beautiful, too. You know, like, those memories are beautiful.
Yeah, I've been talking about, like, how everything looks in Utah, but it wasn't so much, like, how it looked. It was just,
like, the feeling that you
I was just, like, in awe.
Yeah,
you know? It was so interesting because
it can be about how it looks. It can be just striking. Like, I'm sure you're talking about, like, that experience when you see something and you're just, like, taken back, you know, like, you don't have words. It's just so stunning, and
it's definitely about the feeling.
It is, it's like I can feel that feeling right now. Like, it's like a chilling, overwhelming, but, like, very powerful feling. That's how I would imagine it would be. That's how I think the Grand Canyon will be.
I've never been to the Grand Canyon? No. Okay, I will say.
Don't say anything.
No. One of the, it's beautiful, first of all. It is one of those, like, moments. But one of the most embarrassing and yet coolest things I've ever done is Kelly. She had me bring this guitar to our whole road trip, and every place we stopped, she had me play like "You Are My Sunshine" because it's the only thing I knew how to play.
That's so cute.
So I played "You Are My Sunshine" on top of the sign of, like, said Grand Canyon, and people were, like, honking at me. But I was, like, 13, so I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. But looking back on it now, that's pretty badass.
What a beautiful memory.
That's a good memory.
Our next question that we have here is, what is the most beautiful song you have heard?
So this is gonna be kind of the downer song, but it's definitely about the way it made me feel.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say it's, like, my favorite song, but it's definitely up there, you know, so not necessarily. But there's this song by Jennifer Nettles. She's the lead singer from Sugarland, but she went off on her own thing. and there's this song called His Hands. And I remember hearing that song for the first time, and I was just like a wave of emotions went over me. And I mean, how I interpreted the song, it sounds like it was about like a kind of an abusive relationship, you know?
Yeah.
But it's about her, like, it's like the story, how in the beginning he didn't seem like that, and then he was. But then in the end of the song, it's kind of her taking herself back. And, like, every time I hear that song, it makes me feel, like, so powerful. And it's, like, the most beautiful song to me because it's just so real and raw and kind of emotional. But I think it's so powerful. And it makes me feel powerful. That's so really I feel like that's why it's so beautiful to me. I don't know.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Wow, I feel like mine's different but similar in, like, the feeling of it. I don't know. It's like, okay, so, like, why I like the song. Okay, the song is I Tried by Macy Gray. It's like that one that's like, goodbye and I choke, try and walk away but I stumbled, you know.
Oh, yeah. You should.
And it's clear, my world crumbles when you are not
okay,
there, you know. Okay, and, like, that song, I think, is about her not being able to, like, live without her man, or, like, she's, like, I don't know, she, like, asks at one point to, like, be his possession, and, like, she just, like, loves this guy so much, I think, and I think that's what the song's about. I don't know, but
well, it's how you interpreted it.
Yeah. When I listened to it. But the reason why I found, like, it was beautiful, and when I read this question, that's the immediate song that came to my head, and it's because when I was a kid, my mom and sister and I, we had it on a CD, like, and we'd play it in the car, and we would just, like, belt it so loud. And I was probably, like, 8, you know, like, I didn't even know that it was about a guy, or, like, I didn't like boys yet, whatever, like, but this song, her voice, first of all, is, like, really unique. It's kind of deeper, but
I could sing it very
can also hit the high notes, you know, and, like, it's a little raspy, maybe.
It is very
like,
raspy.
It's so unique, and I just loved it so much.
I can hear it in my head right now.
Me too.
Can you all hear her voice right now? Because I can.
I want to, like, play it. No, but the feeling of singing that out loud was so powerful to me as a kid, so it was immediately my go-to when I read that question. I was like,
I have a lot of songs like that too. I guess, like, you know, the song where it's John Mayer. It's John Mayer. He's like, I wanna run through the halls of my high school. Yeah. That was like my mom and I used to sing that at the top of my lungs. My mom and I used to sing that song all the time with the CD in the car, you know, like OG, early 2000s.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nice.
Oh yeah, that is a good feeling too. We did have different feelings, but it was for different reasons.
But yeah, and it was both, like, not really related to the song's meaning, you know?
Not necessarily.
Yeah. I feel like another one of mine is Ed Sheeran. I feel like all of Ed Sheeran's songs are so
I love Thinking Out Loud.
Me too.
That song is so beautiful to me, and it's because of how happy it makes me feel.
That's gonna be my wedding song.
I would love that to be my wedding. I've talked about that. That's really nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna make Josh learn the interpretive dances in the music
video,
and that's what we're gonna do with our day.
I can't wait for that.
Oh, but no, it's so cute. It's about, like, loving somebody throughout any age. I find that song beautiful because of what it's saying.
I feel like I'm in love every time I hear that song, even when I'm not in love.
Or also when you're being loved. Like, his voice just, like, is soothing.
I'm like, is my boyfriend singing to me right now?
Yeah, I'm all, whoa, Ed Sheeran's talking about this song. You know what? And Ed Sheeran is somebody who I do not find aesthetically pleasing at all.
Yeah, not at all.
However, he as a human, I think, would be beautiful.
He's like a beautiful human being.
But
I hope we're not wrong.
No, based on the music and his voice is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
his voice is beautiful.
Oh, we love it. So we're gonna go ahead and go into, like, our last couple questions. I don't know if we're really gonna answer the questions with what we're gonna talk about, but I'm just gonna say the
questions. We kind of just been going off lately.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, so a couple questions. How does the absence of beauty affect people? And why do humans find things other than humans beautiful? How does that help us? So when I read those questions at first, I was like, well, you know, the absence of beauty, obviously we don't know what that is like. But I would imagine it would suck. Like, if you couldn't find beauty in things, I don't know if we would find joy in things. I don't know if we would be as emotional. Like, and if, like, I don't know what that would feel like, you know?
Well, I mean, I'm sure there are people who struggle with seeing beauty in the world, and that probably affects them very greatly.
Yeah. Or, oh, whoa. Like people that are blind?
Okay, well, no, because we've been talking about things that make us feel beautiful. They don't necessarily have to be.
But when we see them, it makes us feel that way. Like a piece of art or like a beautiful location. That's true. But what about deaf people?
Oh, well, then they can see. But then if you're Helen Keller, I'm sure Helen Keller saw beauty in the world still.
Yeah, but that's because she was such a badass female. You know? Like, if she wasn't, she could have just been like, oh, poor me. I don't have like much sensory, so nothing's beautiful. But she still found beauty. That's a powerful thing. But no, I mean, I feel like humans find things other than humans beautiful to show us that beauty isn't just physical.
Yes.
Right? Like, we find nature beautiful because of how we feel when we're around nature or when we're in nature. Or like, we find nature beautiful also, I think, kind of, because we didn't have any part of it.
Well, some people also find beauty, like, being in large cities. Like, some people need that. True. Like, people find beauty in different things. Like, this is what we found beautiful. It made us have those good feelings. But people have that everywhere. I think, like, everyone's different, you know?
But why? Why do people find beauty in things other than humans?
I think because this kind of sounds fucked up, but I feel like because humans have this need for, like, gratification and, like, that feeling in them.
So you feel like people think that, like, let's take a tree, for example.
Mm-hmm.
You think that people find a tree beautiful because they need to see beauty.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
I don't know. Like, they don't need, not that, like, they need it. Maybe it's like, it's not like a conscious thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
Okay, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I said, like, I kind of feel like it's because it's something that is necessary for us to, like, make us stop looking at ourselves so hard, you know? Like,
mm-hmm.
We find beauty in things other than humans because that teaches us that beauty isn't just aesthetic or, like, just physical. It can be other things. And I think that if we didn't find beauty...
I meant, like, not because they wanted to see it as beautiful. I meant, like, they have, like, humans as a freaking race, they have this, like, desire in us, like, we all have that to, like, be happy and, like, feel good.
Yeah,
like
that.
Humans want to feel good. I'm sure there's a way more beautiful way of saying that, but
that's a thing that we were kind of talking about a little bit before this, is like, if we didn't experience beauty, would we experience happiness? Like, finding things beautiful make us happy. And like, when we see something that's beautiful, like when we were talking about our experiences with people earlier, and we're talking about why that was a beautiful interaction or why we found that beautiful, it also evoked, like, happiness.
It evoked emotion in us.
Yeah.
Which I think is my main point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe beauty is an emotion. Like, you know, it's another type of groundbreaking. You know?
Beauty is an emotion.
You know, though, like, maybe it's not just a look type thing. It's an inner...
I think it brings out that in us.
Yeah. Wow.
Groundbreaking.
I feel like that was a good episode.
I feel like, we handled it. You guys might have heard us rant about random things.
Yeah, maybe that last bit didn't make any sense.
We're gonna look back and, like, listen to this.
We're gonna be like, terrible.
What the fuck are we doing?
We are uneducated and spewing nonsense.
No, but I did like this topic. It was interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like, we started this podcast because we were, like, had all these ideas and, like, we wanted to use our voices for different for different things, you know, and we have, like, major topics, but it's also, like, it's like little topics that you talk about that can be meaningful.
Yeah, well, also it just takes your mind off of other stuff too. Like, we don't always need to be talking about stuff that's so huge and heavy and you know, like, very personal or, like, more on the sad side. Like, we can talk about things like this, or like we were talking about doing episodes on music and on art, and we could have an episode where we just talk about, like, embarrassing stories, like like funny stories that have happened to us. Like more lighthearted things too.
Yeah. I mean,
that's nice.
Yeah. That's really nice.
I want to do that.
Do you want to do an embarrassing story?
Well, yeah.
I feel like sometimes we share stories that could be embarrassing.
Yeah.
I can't remember all the stories we've shared on here, but...
Or, like, we could do topics that are kind of, like, very broad. Like, a topic could be, like, motherhood. And we could have a mom as our guest.
Yeah. We are going to have more guests coming. We've kind of just been feeling this whole podcast thing out. Well, we had our one, and also COVID. So, yeah, we didn't super love the Zoom audio. Was that right?
Yeah, it was...
It's hard because
to this audio, it was not great.
The Zoom audio is tough.
There's nothing really we can do about that.
Yeah.
We'd love to be able to have somebody like here physically in person and be able to interact and like get their
maybe
body
we
language and
I don't know. We'll see what
all
happens.
that, Yeah, but anyways, let us know. Let us know what type of guest you'd like to see, what type of episodes you'd like in the future. Like, subscribe, comment, share, follow us on Instagram at Evolving Moons Podcast.
No, just Evolving Moons.
At Evolving Moons. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
Oh, Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we love you. Have a good one.
We'll see you next time. I feel like this caffeine in this drink is just amplifying my life right now.
I feel like I need some.
Amplify your life with Solelo. A caffeine beverage, 0 calories. Why don't people hire me for ads?
Solelo.
How do you say that? I don't know.
Oh man.